All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Grand Millstone. Peace, love, and salutation to the hopefully elect out there. All right, and just want to get a couple of scriptures, man. This dude's on the comment board, and he's, on this 400-year prophecy thing. He responded to the video me and the head of the camp did, Brother Ariala. We did sit down, and dudes on here basically just, I don't even know if I would say scoffing, but they think they know something basically, and they still caught up on this 400-year prophecy. They don't understand that this was a prophecy from the past, man. And there's just a lot of holes in what they're saying here. Now, I'll give them this. The scriptures do say when you calculate the ages and all that other stuff, as far as when Jacob died, it said that Jacob was there 17 years before he died, and it says all that generation died. And when you get all deep into the numbers, it took longer than 30 years for all of them to die off. Now, I haven't necessarily seen the breakdown of it say this, but the way it seems to me is that after they all died off, then there became a point where a new pharaoh came into play, perhaps 30 years later, or something of that nature. Perhaps from that point, at some point, a new pharaoh came in, and we were there for 30 years. At strangers. At that point, we were complete strangers because that pharaoh didn't know us. While that pharaoh was there and he knew Joseph, we were not so much strangers, as we were, temporary inhabitants. There's different forms of that word stranger, but we became literal strangers as in who are these people when that pharaoh came through who did not know Joseph. It was more than likely that was the point that we were actually strangers in that land. So I guess before I get into the scriptures I pulled up, I guess I can, talk a little bit about this. Salakia, because, they're into this whole thing here about, 73, basically, Joseph was 37, he died at 110 years old, and of course he was living there, so I guess he came in at 37 and he died 73 years later. All right, so it says that our enslavement happened not after Joseph's death. It actually happened after everybody from that generation died, and if I'm not mistaken, Levi outlived Joseph. You see, the point is, it says that Joseph and all of that generation died. Let's get it. Joseph 1, Exodus 1, 6 through 11, starting at verse 6. And Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all that generation. See, so after they all died, then we begin the countdown of the 30 years. At least that's what I'm gathering. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, can, one of the brothers correct me on this. But when you start at verse 7, it says, and Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all that generation, period. Then we move on to the next sentence. And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them. So after they died, this is continuing the story. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt which knew not Joseph. You see? So, however, because it don't really break it down exactly, so however you want to reconcile it, there was a 30-year period after they died that we were increasing. Then this new king came up, and then starts the 400 years once they began to oppress us. See? So, I mean, that's a better understanding. That's a better way to explain what happened, because y'all so caught up on these numbers, and this ain't got nothing to do with America. This has nothing to do with America. All right. So let's just get down. So right here he says that Genesis 3, Galatians 3:16 to, I ain't even gonna start there. So let's go to Genesis 15 and 12. It says, so he says, could Genesis 15 and 12 through 14 be talking about America? It's not. Genesis 15 and 13, strangers in the land is not theirs. Let's read it. And also he quotes Acts 7 and 5. He promised that he would give the land to Abraham and the seed after him. At that moment, the land did not belong to the Israelites. At that moment, the land was promised into the Israelites. Abraham was a stranger, and so was his seed after him. Okay. And Jacob dwelt in the land where his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan. Now, who was Jacob's father? It was Isaac, right? His father Isaac was also a stranger in this land, which is why he was running into so much trouble, man. Because if you remember the story of Isaac, he was dig wells, and then the people of the land would contest with him for the wells. They was fighting him back and forth for the wells. He hadn't yet owned the land. He was still basically counted as a stranger. He was still a stranger, not basically. He was a stranger, man. Let's see. See if I can get that. Oh yeah, Genesis 25, 21. Let's just keep going down. I'm gonna get to the point. Come on. Spelled that wrong, Salakia. See? All right. And Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and charged him and said unto him, thou shalt not take a wife for the daughters of Canaan. Arise, go to Padanaram, to the house of Bethuel thy mother's father, and take thee a wife from thence, the daughters of Laban thy mother's brother. And the power Almighty bless thee and make thee fruitful and multiply thee, that thou mayest be a multitude of people, and give thee the blessing of Abraham to thee and to thy seed with thee, that thou mayest inherit the land wherein thou art a stranger, which the Most High gave unto Abraham. And Isaac sent away Jacob. Jacob was a stranger. So not only was his father a stranger, Isaac, Jacob here is also called a stranger. You see? So it wasn't yet confirmed. The inheritance didn't get confirmed until he actually gave them the land. That's when he confirmed it. You see? Or maybe he confirmed it at that point with Jacob, you know, with Israel. But either way, it's still calling them strangers, man. You know, still calling them strangers because they didn't own it yet. So when you go to your comment, you know, you're really like kind of nitpicking. Where is this damn page at? Salakia. You know, and the brother's got works. You know, I haven't watched any of his videos. I'm not gonna say he you know, he know what he's talking about. He's definitely going off on this thing here. He also seems to have his wife in the video, which, hey, I guess do you. But if she's teaching, you going off. It's really not wise to have your wife in the video, because she don't need to be on the battlefield. You know, that's putting her in harm's way. You know, more so than need be. But anyway, continuing on, man. All right. So when you talk about he promised that he would give the land to Abraham and his seed after him. At that moment, the land belonged to the Israelites. Well, that's a flawed notion. The land didn't belong to them until they took it. You see, until Joshua actually went and took the rest of the land, it was not theirs. Abraham was a stranger in the land, as well as Isaac being a stranger, and as well as Jacob being a stranger. So that's another hole in your theory. And really, there's no point in going back and forth. Just believe the Most High's report and just get over it. You see, if you see it's not lining up, then obviously your understanding on the situation is not clear. And this is not talking about America, man. Let's keep going, man. And they were Acts 7 and 6. Yeah, they brought us into bondage. I mean, you're doting about words, man. You're obsessed with these words, because that's what doting means, man. When you look up that word doting, you're actually going. You're too focused on these words. See, they brought us in the Egypt. We walked. They brought us into captivity. We walked into Egypt. See, brought, brother. That means they took us into America on the ships. That ain't what that's talking about, man. So when you go into doting, it says metaphorically of any element of the mind to be taken with such an interest in a thing as amounts to a disease, to have a morbid fondness for. Y'all have a fondness for this 400-year prophecy that's so deep that you're trying to twist everything up and make it go how you want. See, it say brought. So according to that little word brought, that means that's representing the ships. Y'all doing too much, man. In Goshen, we were in our land the whole time. In Egypt, no, man. The land of Egypt there was a separation between the land of Egypt and the land of Canaan. When we took over the land of Canaan, it didn't mention Egypt at all, did it? Because we didn't take over that part of the land. You see? All right, yeah, the day and the hour, don't nobody know. Yeah, we were brought into bondage and afflicted for 100 years. We've got to believe that on faith, that's what happened. August 2019 will mark 400 years since the first document. Did it say then it will be documented that they will be brought into bondage and that will begin the 400 years? No, man. There have been slaves had since the 1500s, or to really it's called the 1600s, but like 1519, 1512, if I'm not mistaken, was around the time that some of the first slaves were taken. The Native Americans were taken as slaves. The island of Puerto Rico, they called it Hispaniola. Those people were enslaved way before the Negroes got enslaved, and those are our brethren. So what about that? And it also said they were serving lands that they knew not. The people of Hispaniola, that was their island. The Native Americans, this was their land, America, which was called Azareth. This is Azareth. They knew this land. They know this land, or knew this land, like I said. The proof of that is when you look around. I mean, we already know they lived here, man. We ain't got to go all deep into that. So you talking about the first recorded group of Israelites. Where does it say that it had to be recorded? In 1526, enslaved Israelites were a part of the Spanish expedition. So you admit right here that it's got to be longer. All right. Now let's get into this great substance. Isaiah 60:1-7, man. Yeah, we're gonna have great substance, but it's not gonna be like it was in Egypt, where we're gonna, leave with great substance. We're not leaving with anything, man. We're gonna get great substance when we come back. You see? All right, Isaiah 60. I'm gonna read Isaiah 60 first. Isaiah 60, man. This is a future prophecy, man. All right, I'm just gonna go straight to the point. The multitude of camels shall cover thee, the dromedaries of Midian and Ephah, all they from Sheba shall come. They shall bring gold and incense, and they shall show forth the praises of the Lord. All the flocks of Kedar shall be gathered together unto thee. The rams of Nebaioth shall minister unto thee. They shall come up with acceptance on mine altar, and I will glorify the house of my glory. What are thee that fly as a cloud, and as the doves to their windows? Chariots. Let's just keep going. Verse 10, and the sons of the stranger shall build up thy walls, and their king shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor I have had mercy on thee. You see? Let's read this. Verse 11. Therefore thy gate shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces or the riches of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. So they're going to bring us. We don't have to carry nothing up into no chariots. We're going to get new immortal bodies. Why are we trying to carry gold and jewels and all this stuff into the chariots? We're trying to make it onto the chariots. We ain't worried about no damn bringing no gold and jewels up into no chariot. Wait, Lord, I got to grab my bag of jewels. You're going to be like, Lord, take me with you. The missiles is coming. If you're in the right mindset. You see? We hastening the day. Yeah, we want Yahweh Shai to take us up out of here. Yes, we do. But y'all ain't looking at this right, man. Y'all are looking for something that may not happen. It may not be this year. You see? And then a lot of y'all gonna bug out because y'all really thought that it was gonna be this year. Isaiah 61. I'll just go straight to the point, man. And well, I'll start at 4. And they shall build the old waste, and they shall raise up the former desolations, and they shall repair the waste cities, the desolations of many generations. And strangers shall stand and feed your flocks, and the sons of the alien shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers. But ye shall be named the priests of the Lord. Men shall call you the ministers of our power. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, and in their glory shall ye boast yourselves. You know? So what's this, man? The end time prophecy, man. End time prophecy. We're going to eat the riches of the Gentiles. But that's after we come back, man. That's after we come back, man. Not a moment before, man. You know? Also, you have to reconcile something else that was said in Genesis 15, right? Because you brought out Genesis 15. I done closed it now.
But we're not taking nothing with us.
Let me pause this. That's right, brother. We ain't taking nothing with us. Now let's just open this back up. Genesis 15 and 12, talking about America. No, it's not talking about America. Why? Because you're looking at Genesis 15 and 13. Let's read it. But Genesis 15 and 16 says what? Let's just start at 13. He said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge. He did judge the Egyptians. And afterward they shall come out with great substance. Okay, this did happen. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Of course, he died. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. But in the 4th generation, they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. What does got to do with today? It's a nation of people called the Amorites around, you know, so-called Africans, Canaanites. Where are they at? What they got to do with end time prophecy? What they got to do with America, Babylon the Great? What are we going to do to these Amorites in this day and age? What is the iniquity that is not yet full for the Amorites? You see, this is not talking about America, man. Just put this idea to bed. Focus on getting yourself right with Yahweh Shai, keeping his commandments, preaching the right doctrine, and get off of this 400-year prophecy stuff, man. You guys are like literally, you know, swallowing a camel and straining at a gnat, man. You know, Jake always want to be super duper deep, man. Don't be too deep. Be one deep, man. Keep it simple. You know, when it comes to this stuff like this, man. You know, because y'all just going into all this stuff, man. You see, going into all this extra stuff. Anyway, hopefully this lesson was edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone. Peace, love, and salutation to the hopefully elect. With that, I say shalom.